Hey everyone, Danny Greco, Keller Williams here. Quick story to share. So a few months back, I worked with some buyers who purchased a home that was for sale by owner. And if you don't know what that means, it's pretty self-explanatory, but typically someone, when they go to put their home on the market, will enlist an agent like myself who works for a firm like Keller Williams, and they put the house on the market and let other agents come by and all the same deal there. But you don't have to do that. Some people opt to sell the home themselves, which means they market it, they take photos, they do all that stuff. And with the idea that they're saving money by not enlisting a listing agent and or not paying a buyer's agent. They feel that they are holding on to that equity that would cost them to put the home on the open market. And I totally get that idea, just in the same way if I wanted to do repair work on my car or fix anything else around the house that should require a specialist, I don't have to do that. We are a DIY culture, so anyone that wants to do that can certainly do so, but there's reasons we have professionals as well, which I'll get into here. So anyway, we found this home in an area that had checked off the boxes that my buyers were looking for. So we inquired with the seller, and long story short, came into contract and everything was going fine. About 4 days prior to closing, the seller texts me and tells me they want to get out of the contract. I knew that they didn't have any legal leg to stand on, and I thought this was just totally bogus request at the last minute. Anyway, we ended up closing, everything was fine, but I think what they had realized, that they were actually losing a lot of money by selling it on their own. So again, people who typically want to go the for sale by owner route are thinking that they're saving themselves money because they don't have to pay the listing agent something they may not be trying to pay a buyer's agent, although in this case they were, which I actually negotiated more of an amount to a standard amount that they were originally offering. Long story short, this person probably lost themselves $25,000 by trying to sell on their own because they didn't know how to appropriately price the property, which my buyers got a hell of a deal on, which is great, and they didn't have anyone marketing it for them. In this neighborhood, yes, it was so hot, but when you're trying to sell by yourself and you don't have the benefit of an agent marketing for you, you're only going to get a select amount of eyeballs on that property. And by the way, chances of who those buyers are going to be, they're not really going to be buyers like mine who had an agent representing them. They're probably going to be other buyers who are going to try to lowball you, or maybe they're not qualified that well. So you're not really getting the cream of the crop like you are if you're putting your home on the market. So I think that this seller, as we were finally approaching the sale date, saw what these other comps in the neighborhood were starting to sell for, freaked out, offered to try to buy us out of the contract, which didn't work. And in the end, my sellers got a great home at a great price. So again, just because you think you are saving money trying to sell a house on your own, chances are you're probably not. So a good lesson to any for sale by owners out there, and also people looking for sale by owner properties, that there could be deals to have. Now, again, a lot of these people are probably mostly unrealistic in their prices on the ambitious side of things, so they're probably unlikely to sell something there. But I'll throw in another quick story on that note. I have another client who I had sold a home with his son, and then he wanted to talk to me about selling a home that he bought without my help from a for sale by owner a few years ago, and he massively overpaid. He bought that home around 1.1, I believe. He spent about $200,000 more than he needed to. By the time that I had looked at it 2 or 3 years after he had purchased it, it was worth about what he had paid. So again, it can swing both ways. In my buyer's scenario, they saved a ton of money from purchasing from this seller who didn't know how to market and list his property and his price his property correctly. But on the other hand, these other clients, they really hurt themselves by not enlisting my help and massively overpaid for this property. So be very, very, very careful when you're operating without a true professional guiding you out there in this market.